Hi everyone, it's Bryony. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm feeling a little bit lost at the moment, and in today's video I wanted to talk about why. There are two main reasons why I'm currently feeling this way that I've managed to work out, and that is that one, I've had a baby, and the second thing is I'm at a bit of a shifting point in my career. And those things have combined to put me in a position that I'm not that familiar with and have, if I'm honest, been struggling with a bit over the past couple of months. The first thing that's really contributed to this change is that having a baby has really shifted my thinking about various different aspects of my life. And I can't actually put my finger on one specific thing that it's changed drastically or like name it for you, but it's just this feeling I have. Like I feel like a different person post-baby. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not a bad feeling to me, but I just know that things that mattered to me before having a child are not the same things that matter to me now, and that my priorities have really shifted. And so I've kind of gone through this, like I've physically changed, like my body has changed, my hormones changed, everything like that has shifted, and I'm kind of still adapting to that. So that's part of what I think is contributing to this sense of kind of unease and feeling lost, is that I'm trying to figure out who my new self is and figure out like what my new goals are and my new ambitions in life, but also trying to find the parts of me that are still kind of the same as before. So it's really interesting to be experiencing that transition right now, and it's something I didn't expect from my postpartum period. Another thing that has contributed to this feeling of being lost is the decision I made to shut down my pad business at the end of August last year. Now, I don't regret that decision at all because it was absolutely the right thing to do. The business had been ticking along for a while and it kind of wasn't making as much money as it needed to, and I didn't have the passion and the energy that I needed to put into it to make it successful again. Also, the cost of living crisis and the pandemic had a hit on it, and I just decided that I wanted to get it to its 10th birthday and then shut it down, which is what I did. And I'm really pleased that I made that milestone and that it achieved what it did in its 10 years of running. But it was time at that point to say goodbye to it, so I don't regret that. However, that decision has contributed to this kind of sense of unease and lostness, because that's what I did for 10 years, and I'm now kind of in, as I said before, a transitionary period where I'm switching over from one thing that I did to another. And so not having that anchor is something that I don't expect it to have as much of an impact on me as it did. And at first there was initially just relief that it had kind of been sorted and I no longer had to worry about all the various aspects that you have to when you're running a business. It was kind of nice to have a break from that. But as time has gone on, it's more a sense of like, oh, I knew who I was when I was running that. I was, a business owner. I was the owner and founder, or even like the CEO, all these different titles you could give, managing director. I basically ran the company. And I think I underestimated the amount of like sense of self and value that I got from that, of being able to be like, this is my job title, this is what I do, and the pride I took in that, and how the loss of that title would affect me going forwards. I didn't expect it. And yeah, I've definitely been somewhat humbled by that experience. And I find it particularly interesting that it has affected me because I am still working. I am technically still a businesswoman. I still run my own content creation business. I've now started doing some freelance work as a social media manager for small businesses. So I'm still working, I'm still earning an income. But I think it was still the fact that it was a big shift between the majority of my focus being on my business to my majority of my focus being on my content creation stuff and on my freelance work. That has been a change that I've been adapting to, and I have actually also been enjoying, but it's still a change, and that has, I think, contributed to this sort of sense of unease. But the next and probably biggest factor to what's contributing to this feeling of lostness is baby number 2. No, I'm not pregnant, and I'm not planning to be anytime soon. Let's just clear that up right now. But I am now like 99% sure that I want to try it for a second child. And that brings some added complications into the mix. The main one being that my first pregnancy was so difficult and I did not expect that. And the reality is my second pregnancy is likely to be like that too. And whenever I say this, people will always say to me, oh, you don't know that, it could be really great the second time, you might not have a problem. And let me tell you guys, God, do I hope so. I have zero desire to experience a pregnancy like that again. I would love for a second pregnancy to be an absolute walk in the park compared to my first. But the reality is there's a very good chance that that's not going to happen. It's going to be just as bad as my first one, possibly potentially even worse, although God, I hope not. And because that could potentially happen, I'm currently in this sort of like holding period between now and when I decide to start trying for my second, which I don't want to do in the immediate future. And the reason this is like an added layer of complexity is because I'm now at a point where I'm trying to think about like what my next big career move is going to be. But what I do know is I don't want to have done that or taken any sort of significant steps towards that before I've had my second child, because I really don't want the added pressure of like having just relatively recently started in a company and then getting pregnant and having to go off sick. Because if I'd had a 9-to-5 job when I was pregnant with Oren, I'd have been off sick my entire pregnancy. There is no way I would have been well enough to work during that time. I was just ill from start to finish. And then of course you go on maternity leave. So that would have taken me out for like 18 months minimum. And personally, I just don't want to do that to a potential employer or to myself if I'm still self-employed, you know. Just, I don't want that extra pressure of juggling something relatively new whilst pregnant and ill and preparing for a new baby and everything. This isn't the right time to do it. That's what it comes down to. Which kind of links me in nicely to the next point, which is another reason why I'm feeling a bit lost right now, is that I'm in a period of my life where right now I just need to cruise, but I'm not used to doing that. I'm someone who's always kind of like had a focus and a vision when it comes to work. It's either like I've been trying to get to my business to this level, or I'm focusing on this project, or etc, etc. Like I always need something to be like focusing on and driving me forwards. And right now I don't really have that. I'm kind of coasting, and that's working out really well for me in terms of having like a really good work-life balance, with being able to spend quite a lot of time with Oren and just working 2 days a week part-time with my content creation and my freelance stuff. And also, you know, we have enough income to get by. We certainly don't have lots of money, and I've always been someone who's very careful with budgeting and saving, and I'm having to be particularly careful at the moment. But it's doable, and certainly is fine for the time being. I wouldn't want to be in this position for the long term, but for the next couple of years we'll be fine doing this. And I quite like the amount of time I get to spend with Oren and the amount of time that I'm working. It's quite a good balance for me at the moment. But equally, there's a bit of my brain that's just like trying to focus on what's the next thing, because as much as I'm coasting right now and this is working, I know that this is not my long-term plan. My long-term plan isn't to be a content creator forever. The freelance stuff on my social media, that might grow over the next few years. That might spin off to be something else. I might go off and do something else entirely different. I just don't know right now. And the fact that I can't really put a huge amount of energy into thinking about what the next thing is going to be, because right now I'm just wanting to kind of spend time with my son and work enough for us to get by, but not necessarily be like really focusing on work. That's a shift I've had to make that I'm still kind of mentally struggling with a bit. And that also links me on to the next point, which is I don't know what I want to do next. Like I said at the beginning of the video, the two major things that have contributed to me feeling this way at the moment is that I had a baby and that I'm currently at a career shift. I shut down my cough pad business. I'm focusing on my content creation and my freelance stuff for now, but what my long-term goal is going to be, that's where I'm currently unsure. Over the years, I've kind of dipped my toe in a number of different areas, and so there's many different like starting points that I could potentially build off and go off in some other direction. But the thing is, I just don't know what I want to do right now. I don't know if I want to kind of go back and build on more of the menstrual health stuff again and do something different with that, or like take some of the skills I used from fostering and use that in a way to work with disadvantaged children. I think I would like to do something like that ideally, or something more around like my social media skills and content creation. Like there's just several different things that I could like start from and build on and go in various different directions, or do something different entirely. I just don't know. And I have always been somebody who knew what they wanted to do. From a very young age, I was always pulled in the direction of I want to start a business. That's what I always knew I was going to do. I was going to start a business. And I did, and I've done that. And now I'm kind of like at the next stage of my life, and I'm like, I don't have a really strong pull in any particular direction at this moment in time, and I don't really know what to do about that. And I know it's a common feeling for many people. A lot of people feel like that, but for me, it's a very new experience. And so I'm kind of like, oh, what do I do here? And that is something I think I would quite like to figure out for myself, because I think this time in particular actually could be quite good as an opportunity to study something new, or to do some like official qualification, as long as it was online or flexible in some way. It's just another opportunity to do that right now when I'm kind of in this transitionary period and also only working part-time and spending more time with my son, but then potentially have something that I'm doing that could be useful to me later on if I wanted to jumpstart my career in a different way after I'm done having my kids and they've grown up a little bit. So that's basically the overview of why I'm feeling a bit lost right now. And I imagine some of you are probably in boats where you can relate too. Maybe you have had a baby yourself and your career that you were doing before doesn't really work with you post having a baby, or you're just not interested in it anymore and you're trying to think about what you might do next, or maybe you haven't had kids, but maybe you've gone through a life circumstance recently that's changed your way of thinking. So I just wanted to make this video to share that, like, it's a perfectly normal thing to go through. I think throughout our lives we're going to go through many changes and transitions, and that's really normal, but I don't think it's something that's talked about enough in public. Like, it's something that we tend to kind of figure out privately, and then when we've got somewhere or become successful, then we post it on social media. And I don't want to be a creator like that. I want to show you that, yeah, this is where I am right now, and haven't really got a specific direction forwards at the moment, but I'm hoping I will get there, and when I do, I'll be able to share that journey with you too. Now, all that being said, I have recently started working on a little project which has definitely given me some more motivation and helped me to feel a little bit less lost. And I've been really enjoying doing this work too, so that I'm really excited about. Those of you with keen eyes may have already spotted what I'm talking about. Also, I'm not sure when I'm releasing this video, so I may have mentioned it before this video goes live, but just in case I'm not going to. But it is something that is currently bringing me joy and giving me something to focus on, which has been really great, as well as all the other work I'm doing too. So I'm feeling like with that I found a little piece of myself again, and that's quite nice. So I think, like, slowly but surely I'll figure out what I want to do and put the pieces back together, and, you know, we'll find my new way forwards. But for now, this is where I'm at, and I just wanted to let you guys know about it. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Do please subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments if you've ever been in a situation like this, or if you're currently going through a situation like this. It'd be really great to kind of share everyone's experiences. A big thank you, as always, to my precious Star Superstar members for your extra support each month. It really means the world to me. Thank you so much. Wherever you are in the world, thank you for watching, guys, and I hope you have a great day. Bye, everyone.